Hello, we are here on the Wild Sound Actors podcast, and I am joined by Irini Katz from the very suspenseful film Guillotine. It really kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time, wondering which narrative we're living in, the twisted knife of guilt, fears, regret throughout. So much to dig into. I know if you've come to the podcast from having watched the film, you've got a lot of questions, and maybe we can answer some of those today. But before we dive into the film, hello, Irene. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Thank
And
you for having me.
I see a little furry cat friend. Who's this joining us too?
This is Momo.
Oh,
She's
so cute.
my little baby.
She's adorable. Momos are also one of my favorite foods. The dumplings, they're so good, but
Oh,
I won't
she's
I won't eat cats.
she's named after the lemur from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I love that. A film culture. That's amazing. So before we really dive into the film, Irene, I'd love to learn a little bit more about you. You gave this lovely, grounded, nuanced performance through this roller coaster of a film that I can imagine was quite the challenge. This is clearly not your first film. How did you get into that?
Actually, it was my very first film.
I love that.
Till then, I've only done theater.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so we started out in theater. Let's talk through this journey.
Well, my first contact with acting was in high school. I joined an amateur theater group. We were just a bunch of high school kids finding texts that we thought were interesting and trying to find a way to make it work
Yeah.
without any proper, direction or knowledge of anything.
Just doing it because you love it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's kind of where I fell in love with acting.
Nice. And
During high school, while I was in this theater group, I was studying music. And I love music. I was studying singing and piano.
nice.
And I've always had a strong attraction to the arts and to performing and telling stories, getting the public to feel things.
Hmm.
But for some reason, I felt like music had a bit too many limitations for me.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And in acting, I felt a bit freer and like I could explore things a little more.
Hmm.
So in college, I got my bachelor's degree in acting,
Nice.
mainly theater acting. And now I'm studying for my master's degree in theatrical pedagogy.
Congratulations. What
Thank
made
you.
the drive to do the dive into further academics?
Well, I was called to train some high schoolers at the same festivals that I used to go to
Oh,
when I was just an amateur. And I just saw the change that it made in them, like
mm,
having somebody close to their age who understands them, who understands where they've been, who was exactly where they were just a few years ago.
yeah.
And it gave me a very similar fulfillment to when I feel like I've done a great performance and I changed something in the public. Seeing
Yeah.
the change in the kids I was working with gave me the same kind of satisfaction.
Hmm. It's such a full circle journey from going from a kid their age, not having that direction, to finally having somebody to maybe reach out a hand and say, hey, yeah,
Yeah.
here's how we can do this, and here's how we can bring this all together. That's lovely. Oh, amazing. So
And
in
it was really a full circle because the first festival that I was a trainer at was the first festival I ever performed in on stage. And it was just such an emotional moment for me. It really felt like everything kind of tied itself up nicely.
Oh, that's so lovely. And it's so interesting to be able to see it back. And I think when you have that fondness, you just want to share, you want to make it a sacred experience for them as well,
Sure.
clearly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after that point, diving into film, you said this is your first film, but how did you get into this? How did this film come into your life?
Well, I got a message from someone if I want to come to a casting. I said, yeah, sure.
Always.
And then a few months later, I got the call. They said, you got the role if you still want it. And I said, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Sign me up. This sounds amazing. And then the director sent me the full screenplay, the whole script, and I was shocked.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I was completely shocked and as confused and in suspense as I guess everybody watching the film was.
Yeah. How do you tackle a script like that? Like, where did you start?
The first discussions that we had with the director were very much kind of creating the world, not
Mhm.
necessarily the exact events of the film.
Yeah.
And I really, really appreciated that. We had quite a few weeks of rehearsals where we were just creating the universe, creating the characters, discussing motivations, thoughts, really trying to make this a bit far-fetched story grounded and real.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Mm-hmm.
like, the subject matter is so out there that for me, at least for my character, I wanted her to feel very much like a real person that you would meet in everyday life who just
Yeah.
kind of ended up in these crazy circumstances.
Yes. That's I can tell that there was time put into the project because it did feel like everybody was playing the same game despite the roller coaster you were on. Felt like everybody was very clear on where you were from the creative side of the filming and the very deliberate framing of everything to the actors. It felt like, yeah, a very cohesive world was created. So that definitely came through.
That was, it's all the director. He was very, you could tell that he had a very, very clear vision.
Mm-hmm.
And we had clear spots where we could each have our freedom to
Uh,
express ourselves within our assigned little box.
mm-hmm. That's lovely to
And
have that
he
moment.
really worked on details with us and backstory, and these are things that I really enjoy. Like if you give me homework and tell me to think about what happened
Yeah.
when, I love that. I love that. I would do that all day.
How did you find you're into this character? How did you make her feel so authentic?
Well, the main question, it was also the main kind of issue with the role that the director had. He said that the main problem is we don't know why she loves him.
Huh.
Like, why does she stay? If this
Hmm.
whole thing happened and, he's pulling back from her, she's trying to reach out and
Yes.
she's not getting anywhere. It's like, why are these two together? Why is she staying with him? What's going on? Because if you don't have the relationship, I feel like the character would just kind of fall flat.
Yes.
And so he gave that to me as my homework to decide and think about the motivations. And I kind of built her inner world a lot also from myself
Hmm.
because that's what's easiest for me, I guess.
Yeah.
And exactly like we were discussing with the children that I teach, there's this moment when you see someone's potential and their talent, and it's like a wave of admiration
100%.
almost, and you feel like you would do anything to make them see what you see in them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of her being I don't know how to put it. She does have a bit of a savior complex. Like she loves the fact that he needs her. She's
Yeah.
that kind of person who needs to be needed and needs to feel like she's helping someone, needs to feel like she's contributing.
Yeah.
And so him being this kind of more tortured artist type, the writer and all that,
Yeah.
I feel like they balance each other out because his need for someone to support him is what makes her love him so much.
Hmm.
Because she's like, oh, thank goodness, there's finally somebody who actually needs me, someone I can
Yeah.
help, somebody who really, really needs me.
I think that really helped even with the pacing it because of the film because there's such a strong drive from your direction and having that like I need to save you. I want you to see yourself the way I see you really created, yeah, that nice tension, that push and pull in every scene. So, yeah, that's very interesting. I think that brings out a lot of the themes that I was getting. Um, and there's also that we've got the image of like Mother Mary and the angel. And
Yeah.
it's almost as if he's seeing how he's hurting her. There's that like classic Catholic guilt of of not living up to the expectations that we put to ourselves or our morals. And yeah, that hit me in this film for sure. That's lovely. Now, in terms of your filming, the process, what was the process like in diving into this?
It was a bit of a whirlwind because everything was being my also my first time filming like an
Yeah.
actual movie. I didn't know what to expect. I was super nervous. I was very nervous that my theater training wouldn't translate so well on screen. I was
Mm.
nervous about certain things because I wouldn't be able to see the final product. I was a bit in my head until I got on set. But as soon as I got on set and everybody would just lock in, it
Yeah.
would just it was infectious and contagious. Like I felt actually more relaxed than in a lot of the rehearsals, surprisingly.
Wow, that's a lovely gift. Thank you to everybody
Mhm.
creating that feeling. Okay, so in terms of you coming from theater backgrounds, I always hear people talking about what they feel is the difference between the mediums. What did you find was the main difference in translating theater training into being on film?
For me, honestly, I felt like it was easier to be on film
Ah,
because a lot of the structure and the method that they teach here starts from the inner thoughts.
yeah,
And so when you're doing theater, you can have the correct thoughts and emotional process and all that, but you have to make it big enough for the public to be able to see it.
yeah.
There's no point in me feeling sad if you can't tell that I'm sad. Like,
Yes.
and so when I was filming and I would look back on some of the scenes, I was like, oh my God, it's amazing. I don't actually have to do anything. I just have to be in the right headspace and it works.
Be present, and then
Yeah.
yeah, we're getting all of it, and we got
That,
all of it because there was a lot you had to do, right? So that's what a dream that you can just be there.
yeah, it really felt like a dream.
So do you think you want to explore more film after this?
Sure, I'd love to.
Lovely.
I'd love to. I'd like to explore anything and everything I can.
Yeah, why not? It's all the same craft, it's just finding your way
Like
in.
different mediums, yeah.
Yeah. No, were there any surprises when you were filming?
There were a few with the weather,
Hmm.
it being minus 17 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
It was a bit surprising. The scene where he falls into the pit and he has the lighter.
Yes.
We had this built these walls so that it would look like a pit from inside. It was above ground. But
Oh,
initially, I was supposed to be sitting on the ground, and it was just too cold. It was just too cold. Also, everything was filmed at night, so it was freezing.
yes.
And they were saying the night that we were supposed to film it that there's no way for us to heat it up. What are we going to do? We can't leave the actors out in the cold.
No.
We have to film it a different day. And then there was an issue if we film it in daytime, we don't have enough black material to block out all the light, so it has to be done at night and it's going to be freezing either way. And the director turns to me and he says, if you want to do the scene and you're okay to do the scene, we'll do the scene. If not, we'll figure out a way to do it tomorrow. And I was already prepared emotionally, mentally
You've done
to
all the
be
work.
in the pit and start screaming and crying. And I was like, no, we have to do the scene. What do you mean we're not going to do the scene?
Go.
I'm ready for the scene.
Put me in, coach. I love that.
Exactly.
And you
And
did
we did
it.
it. And we did
Wow.
it.
That's a trooper. Not no diva mentality over here. So any future directors looking for a great actress, she's not a diva. She's ready to go.
Ready to
That's
go.
awesome. How long did it take to film this?
I think it was 4 or 5 days.
Okay. Yeah, I imagined that it was going to be a pretty like extended process because you've got so many different scenes, you've got
Yeah.
so many different arcs in their journey. Lovely. Okay, so you finished filming. When you finally actually saw the project in its entirety, what was your reaction?
There were a lot of things. It's very it's difficult for me to see it like objectively.
Yes.
And so whenever I watch the film, I get this, it's gonna sound bad. I get this sense of like dread and horror. And I can't tell if I'd feel that way because that's what the film projects, which is good. That's what
Yes.
it's a horror movie. Or if I feel that way because that's what my character was going through.
Yeah.
And so when I watch it, it kind of takes me back there a little.
Yeah, there's a little bit of almost, well, you have to, somebody was mentioning on a previous podcast that your body as an actor, when you're going through these thoughts and you're putting your body physiologically through these emotional states, it registers as real trauma. And it takes a couple days for it to seep out. And I so many times when I've heard actors seeing projects where their character goes through some pretty emotionally distraught times, they have those lingering feelings of
Yeah.
that trauma still like kind of living in the body. So I wonder if that is coming through to you.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Like I can't watch the scene with the accident every time I have to
Oof.
look away, and I can't tell if that's a good thing or if it's a bad thing.
It's a good I had to look away too. I found it really yeah, really hit me. So I think it's a balance between the two that you that you're finding. There's also a lot of dread of having to watch your own work. So there's probably some of
Exactly.
the how did this one
Exactly.
come
And
out?
criticizing and thinking, oh, I should have done this like this. I could have done that. I could have changed this. But if the director's happy, I'm happy.
Yes, I think that's a good thing for a lot of actors to sit with at the end. Like they're happy with it. Audiences are getting something out of this. It's out of my hands. But I do know a lot of actors refuse to watch their own work. I think Johnny Depp has never seen any of his films except for maybe animated films because he finds
Wow.
it just too distressing to to watch his own work. Okay,
Yeah.
so in terms of when audiences have seen it and family and friends, what have been their reactions to the project?
Mainly good.
Yeah.
Mainly good. My mom was pretty distraught
Yeah.
watching it. But mainly I've heard good reactions and good feedback,
Oh,
and people enjoyed it, or rather, it made them uncomfortable,
yeah.
which was a good thing.
Yeah. It's all about just making people feel something new. I think we go through the motions a lot in our daily life. And as an actor, if you can make somebody wake up a little bit or cherish something a little bit stronger or evaluate how they're living their life, you've done your job right. And I definitely had those moments in this. So congrats.
Thank you.
Now, what's next for you? What any projects you're excited about or
Right now, I'm finishing my master's degree,
yeah,
so that's kind of the priority at
yeah.
this point in time.
And what's
And I'm
the
doing
focus?
lots of little things.
Nice.
Like tomorrow, I actually have the premiere for a musical theater showcase that I'm doing together with a different master's department, the musical theater department at my university.
Oh,
That'll
lovely.
be
What's this
interesting.
showcase?
Just a collection of songs, solos, duets, group moments.
Lovely. So the
That
music
type
is
of thing.
still present in your life as well.
It will always be present.
Yeah.
Even if it's not professional, I'll always, at the end of a long week, sit down with my piano and sing my sad songs and get out all my feelings.
Yeah, get that catharsis out. And it keeps on it. I know for a lot of artists, music is a great way to get into a character or to process some of the feelings outside of it. So that's lovely that you have that. Exciting. And what's the focus of your master's again?
It's theatrical pedagogy.
Cool. Nice.
So, using theatrical techniques for personal development to train certain abilities in all ages.
Wow, lovely. The Romanian actor I was just talking to earlier on the podcast, he his main focus was that I think he thinks everybody should take a theater class or everyone should take an acting class. And he mentioned to me after the call that apparently a lot of therapists are telling people go and take an acting class because
Yeah.
there's certain aspects of your life or maybe fears of being authentic or being present with others that you can tackle by just diving into an acting class.
Yeah, and there's
Oh,
so much more than that. Like
yeah.
there's all the little things, even your attention span, your focus, the way you observe other people, the way you observe a room when you walk into it.
Mhm.
I feel like acting really rewires all the society, I don't even know how to say it right. Everything that society says we should think and not do and sit still and only speak when you're spoken to. I feel like acting really flips the switch and
Mm,
lets the brain kind of return to that natural state of freedom like we had
yeah.
when we were kids.
Yeah, that feeling of play and realizing that it's all kind of a game at the end of the
Exactly.
day,
Exactly.
that you can make what you want to make out of it. I always think that when people say, "Oh, we don't need arts education, we need math or STEM or etc." I think of all the things, all the skills from theater and acting training are the things that robots cannot replace. They can't replace a really good listener. Like there's even like AI therapists, you can't replace that energy and that synergy of two people listening to one another in a room. You can't replace like a great presentation that makes your heart swell and persuades you to do what they want you to do. You can't replace these lovely skills that require creativity, that require seeing outside of, yeah, traditional learning. So I'm glad that you're carrying the torch for our future generations.
As much as I can.
Yes, it's a very valiant effort. So I definitely support that. Well, I hope that from listening to this, if some of our listeners haven't seen the film yet, definitely check it out. It will be on some of our showcases. And for those of you who have seen it, maybe you're going to want to do a rewatch knowing all of this. But I want to say a huge thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. And hopefully we'll get to chat about some future projects.
Hopefully, I'd like that.
I would love that too. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.